Goa, the smallest state of India, is known for the giant Western Ghats on its extreme east and the fresh water streams which come down, quenching the thirst of people at the estuaries. These fresh water streams meet the river and then they run down to the extreme west towards the sand-laden land where it meets the Arabian Sea. So, at the estuaries lies a land full of food. It is known as the Khazan lands of Goa. The Khazans mostly consist of bandh, internal water body, sluice gate and rice field. All these components help in the functioning of the Khazan land. They all make the unique integral farming and fishing activity possible. The bandhs, traditionally built using locally available mud, clay and laterite stone, help protect the nearby fields from floods. The internal water body has the water collected from the village upper surface that gush down during the rains. The farmers cultivate these lands. They grow salt-resistant paddy crops and other vegetables suitable for the soil. The sluice gate that has a mechanism of controlling the water levels is leased out to a tenant. He keeps a check and regulates the water flow. He uses a net made of thick thread called the bag net. Apart from these four components, the mangroves along with the coconut tree plantation and the salt pens also form an important part of the Khazan land.
Comunidades are community lands and they are governed by a code of comunidad which is called Código. And it was there previous to the Portuguese arrival in Goa. What the Portuguese did was only regularized the comunidades by putting that Código. What was unwritten, they wrote it. We used to maintain the bandhs in the traditional way. We used to use they used to call the chikol, the mark from either from the point or the noi, wherever feasible. Other they used to bring it in canoes where it was not possible to do and repair. When the water is to come from outside through the band underneath, again for that there were people who used to do the work. They would dig the barn in the middle, go up to the root from where the bomb started, is to call from where the starting point is come, and is to block it with the traditional way. That time there was no cement, it was used absolutely in the barn.
The moon plays an important role in the fishing activity as it influences the water tides. In the fishing community, the tenant is the person who enjoys the right of fishing at the sluice gate. He gets selected at the auctioning meeting of the sluice gate held by the tenant association. The person who bids the highest amount is selected to be the tenant. Each day, the tenant, along with his companions, works very hard to catch fish. He follows the lunar calendar and regulates the fishing sessions. He mostly gets his fish during the dark hours and takes it to the market at dawn. He makes good money and keeps it aside to pay his lease installments. The members of the tenant association receive their installments during the tenure period. In the months of June, July and August, the shutters of the sluice gate remain closed for the fish to breed. The tenant also uses the canoe laid down on the riverbed for fishing. The local fish available in the estuaries are Khorsani, Sangta, Kuandar, Burante, Wagyu, Shote, Murtashi and many more. The crabs and other shellfish like mussels, clams and oysters are also found here.
आमगे न्हू मानशे काम स्टार्ट 7 o'clock to night. सो आतां आम 7 स्टार्ट करताय ते 7 स्टार्ट करताय ते आम 8, 9, 10, 11 ते भशेन मागीर पॅक करूंक पडटा आमकां. मागीर पॅक केले मागीर उदक पोती भितर येता आमगेलें न्हंयचें उदक भितर येयलें म्हणटरी आमी तें होल उदक घेताय भितर. मागीर 3, 2 तो टायम जाता ते भशेन आमकां भायर पडटा आमगेलें. भायर पडलें म्हणटरी आमी नेट घाताय. नेट घायलें आमी मागीर तें प्रॉन्स पडटाय सुंगटां पडलीं म्हणटरी तीं आमी 1 वर आनी हाफ एन आवर तें काडटाय. तीं काडलीं आमी मागीर सकाळची 5 o'clock बीन मार्केटां वयताय. मार्केटां आमी ती होलसेलां दिताय होलसेल रेट. थिंगसान मागीर आमी दिलीं येयलीं हे भशेन आमगे इनकम. आनी आमकां तें मॅटेरियल बॅग नेट, कांटाळी, पागेल, ओयेंडी तेसो आमकां ती एप्रील मे म्हयन्यान लागता. आतां गरज आमकां खाली बॅग नेटाची. आमकां वर्स आमगे आतां 1 year जालो. 1 year जालो आमगे चालू आसता तें. ऑक्शन जाता तेन्ना रिकंटिन्युएशन ऑक्शन जालें म्हणटरी. आनी सो आमकां तेंचो युजींग हें सुंगटां घालपाची बॅग नेटां पडटा हितूंतल्यान काडून आमी वयर हाडटाय. आनी आमी 2-3 जाण आसताय. ही यूज करप कुल्ल्यांक क्रॅप नांव एक कोबली म्हणटाय कुल्ल्यांक ते भशेन घालप तें उडोवप.
The village elders, youngsters, and children also try their luck at fishing, sitting patiently to fill the fish jug on their fishing rod. The fishermen from the village know when the moon is at its best. They fish during the spring tides as it provides abundant water in the estuary. They fish with their katai, a net that's spread on the water as an unveiled curtain drape.
The tenants association, we play a role, in order to take care of the fields and the ponds which are there and the sluice gate. Yeah, we don't come under the fishery department or anybody. As an independent body, that is the tenants. All the field, those who used to cultivate the field and all, we have formed an association in order to maintain. And we got it registered under Mamladar mainly because of accountability. Because any accounts and all that thing, so that the committee changes every 3 years. So anybody who comes new should not, utilize the money elsewhere where accounts have been kept. Source of income for us is from the sluice gate. We auction the sluice gate as well as the backwaters, and the money that we get, we utilize it to take care of the breach of bunds where the water does not come into the field and destroy the fields. Plus the sluice gate and all the doors and all, it has to be replaced every 3 years. So we spend money from there. And sometimes when we don't have money, then we apply to soil and conservation and try to get some source from them to maintain those bunds and all that.
The farmers farm on this rich field land. They grow the paddy crops and vegetables. The fields in Khazan lands are very famous for their yield of salt-resistant paddy crops like korgut, kagar, kendal, asgo and jaya.
आमचे हिंगा शेत आसा. आमचे शेतान म्हणल्यार पीक आवड म्हणल्यार सुकवणे हेतू आमचे मार्चांक सुकयता ते उदक आनी नोव्हेंबराक बत्ता स्टार्ट करता आनी मार्चांक सुकयता. हे मार्चांक सुकयलें म्हणल्यार आमच्या शेतांक कोणाक मेवता हे फोंडटात. बहुत कॉस्ट मेहनती करता आमी ह्या शेतांक. हे मेहनत करून आमकां मे जुनाक म्हणल्यार आमी हे घालताय रोपता आनी सप्टेंबर ऑक्टोबर म्हणल्यार ऑक्टोबरा म्हणल्यार पीक जाता आमची कळ्ळें. आनी हो शेताचो म्हणल्यार तो आजगो सगळो भलायकेक बरो सगळो आनी सगळ्या भुरग्यांक सगळ्यांक हेल्थी आनी सगळ्यांक आजगो खूंय मेवना म्हणल्यार इल्ल्या देराशेल मेळटा तितल्या. आमी हे वर्स रोवपाक लागले आतां 20-30 वर्सां जालीं रोवपाक लागल्या आनी आमी मेशीन लागना चिकट जाल्ले आसा आमी होरे घेवन ते होणटात जेन्ना उदक हें हार आसता न्हू पावसा सिजनान अप एंड डावन वता माणूस आसता न्हू तेजे भितर भायर सोदता आनी ते पावसाचें उदक आनी आमचे न्हंयचे व्हाळाचें उदक येता आनी ते भितर सोन भायर सोन ते न्हू शेतांक हें जाता वडणी जाता तेन्ना आमकां पीक बरें मेळटा अप एंड डावन गव्हर्मेंट सबसिडी आमकां कांय दिना कित्याक हालीं खूद आमी रोयतात तेजेर आमी पोट भरतात जेवतात आमचे तें कितलें आमकां जितलें जाय तितलेंच आमकां मेळटा.
Some of them avail the financial assistance made available by the Agriculture Department, where they get rupees 80,000 per hectare of land each year.
Khazan lands occupy 18,000 hectares of area in Goa. So that is almost equivalent to 1/3 of a paddy area. Definitely Khazan lands are very important to the Directorate of Agriculture, of which I am a part. The Directorate of Agriculture performs multifarious functions. One thing is providing advisory services, then assisting in the providing of inputs for cultivation of Khazan lands, hiring out of agriculture machinery, and also assisting in marketing of the produce from the paddy in Khazan lands. Yeah, there are complaints which sometimes come from farmers that their fields are flooded either because there is a breach in the bunds or the sluice gate has been damaged. So in such cases the farmers are advised to approach the concerned Mamladar because there are tenant committees. So they have to approach the Mamladar and through him pass a resolution and forward it to the Soil Conservation Division of the Directorate of Agriculture to take up the repairs. Schemes of either subsidy or without subsidy which are benefiting farmers who are cultivating Khazan lands. The first major scheme is the protection of the bunds in Khazan lands. So there is a scheme called for protection or remodeling of bunds. So there are 2-3 types of schemes. There is a scheme where the Farmers Association applies through the Mamladar and they are given 50% subsidy. There is another scheme where department gives 90% subsidy in case the bunds are bigger. It's called remodeling of bunds. And there are some schemes, specific schemes, where 100% subsidy. That means the whole work of the bund and sluice gate is done by the government without burdening the farmers. Second thing is for land preparation. Custom service means tractors of the department and of authorized agencies are hired to the farmers at 50% of the standard cost, which at present is 500 rupees. So farmer has to pay only 250 rupees. Then thirdly, we give for Khazan lands, if it is a very saline Khazan land, Korgut seed is provided free of cost at the rate of 100 kilos per hectare. And other type of seeds, say the Khazan lands which are closer, areas which are closer to the hills, where other types of varieties can be grown, there the seed is provided at 50% of the cost, and this type of seed is Jyoti, Jaya, Karzatri, etc. Then there is subsidy for even harvesting of the fields, called custom service for harvesting, where 1,000 rupees per hectare is provided for the farmer, or in case the agency is directly taking only 50%, then they charge the farmer 1,000 rupees less.
According to the Biomed online journal, in the past there were 36 villages involved in salt production, which is now reduced to 9. The different reasons responsible for the reduction in the number of salt pens is the low income, lack of skilled laborers, competitions from industrially produced salt, and losses incurred through yearly damages of embankments. Joachim, one among very few other people, still continues the 1500-year-old practice of salt farming. Being in the preparative phase of salt production, his companions are busy repairing the embankments damaged in the monsoon rains. Using the water pump, he drains out the water from the salt pens. The salt pens are known to have a diversity of microbial population. These microorganisms play an important role in recycling of materials in the solvents.
10 वर्ष झाले स्टार्ट केलं 10 वर्ष काढलं पहिलं माझ्या बापूय काढतालो बापूय माझी 30 वर्सां मार काढली त्याचे फंड पाय मग तो जाय ता काढला.
As rice, vegetable, fish, salt, coconut, the perfect food bowl of Goa can be derived from the stretched Khazan lands. They are considered to be the resourceful source of survival. Resident and migratory birds, reptiles, and insects live in these beautiful lands of Goa. The early morning brings life to the lilies in the ponds, and the grass looks fresh. The mangroves, the purifiers of water and air, practice their perfection of releasing their pods straight in the riverbed. Through organic biomass, they supply nutrients to tiny fish swimming in the estuaries and a protective shelter for many native and migratory birds. The crabs, with their hefty arm, go on digging up the clay. They don't just remain in the estuaries, but they do travel fields ahead. The crabs make the path upside down. The water gushes out through the small holes, making it tough for the barn to stand unharmed. The cows and the buffaloes in the evening are seen in the fields giving cranes luxurious rides. They graze in the fields, leaving behind dung as manure for the next yield. In the night, the field become empty and get all set for a concert of cricket, frogs, and tiny little bugs that sing in their distinct harmony. Overall, these Khazan lands also provide different job opportunities like shellfish collection, repairs of pond, crop farming, salt farming, building canoes, toddy tapping, and fishing. Today, the most revenue pulling activity at Khazan land is the prawn culture. Here, the fisherman puts the baby prawn in water and install oxygen machine for them to breathe in the ponds. He feeds them on a feeding tray. He waits for the prawns to grow big before he sells them for a good deal. Though the Khazan lands are very important, very less is done to solve the issues that it has. Through the years, due to change in ownership and the land use, the Khazan lands have become very fragile and vulnerable to exploitation. With the change in authority, their slow-paced function is causing harm, as no repairs in time have left the Khazan lands in despair. The mismanagement of repairs by choosing unskilled contractors who do not follow the traditional way of maintaining the barns have also seen a loss and destruction. Making up for the destructions in repairs by using modern techniques like cementing the barns is posing a threat to its ecology. The growth in population and consumerism has flushed down the garbage in the streams. This garbage has polluted water and has become a cause for decline in fish species. The industries based on the riverbanks have also polluted and harmed the Khazan ecosystem, as the chemicals haven't left any room for escape. With rapid urbanization, people have newer and various job opportunities. Therefore, with the difficulties of finding labor and machinery, many people prefer not to farm their land, leaving it barren. The mangroves are cut down and uprooted to widen up roads, leading to decline of its varied species. Along with lot of dirt, the Goan estuaries are filled with mining silt. Since 1950s, the barges traffic with their movements created shock waves, which affected the embankments. Breaches in the embankments have caused the saline brackish water to flood the fields. It has resulted in less agricultural produce. In some places, these fields have become part of the estuaries as they have been under salt water for many years. Here, there is no proper sharing of resources as the farmers don't get compensated and the fishing tenant gets abundant of place for the fish to breed. In recent times, the saline ingression into aquifers have destroyed many fresh drinking water wells, and too many breaches in the embankments have created a threat, leaving villages less protected from the tidal water movements.